Hello. It's great to have everybody here today. And remember, my name is Human, and it's great to welcome you to our webinar. But I have a co-host again today, and I would like to say hello, Tammy.
Hello, nice to be with you again, Human, and nice to be with everybody.
It's great to have you here, Tammy. Let's get going. The first thing we are going to do, we are going to see what we are learning about. Today we are learning about education and all vocabulary relating to education. And the lesson aims are, first, we are going to learn different words that we use when we talk and speak to other people about education or higher learning, meaning going to a university or a college. So those vocabulary words, those words that we use when talking about that topic. The second thing we are going to learn, and this is what Tammy is going to do. I'm going to do the vocabulary part, and then Tammy will do the grammar part. And the grammar part that she's going to do to learn how and when to use time expressions. Talking about time, including the words for, during, and while. Let's start with our vocabulary. The first word, campus. Now, what is a campus? If you have a look at the picture, you see quite a few buildings and an area around those buildings. Now, this is the grounds, the land, and the buildings on that land where you study at the college or the university is what we call a campus. And this is where all the students walk around and they go from class to class. And sometimes, Tammy, do you know they sometimes use bikes?
Do they?
Yes, they use bikes.
Why do they use bikes on a campus?
Well, sometimes the classes are quite a distance from each other, some of the buildings. So when they come out of this class, they get onto their bikes and they give a quick ride to the next building. And there they have their second class. And everything that happens on the campus. Our second word, institute. Now, an institute can be two things. It can be either an organization or it can be a building. And this is where people do a particular type of study, or where they give a specific or a particular type of help. It can be either scientific, it can be educational, it can be an institute for social work. Like an example, you get an institute for sport. And what do they do there? They study and they do things around sports and how to do sports and how to get better in sports. And they have lots of computers. So those things they do at an institute. I know you have an institute quite close where you live, Tammy.
I do. So we have a campus in my city, but also about 10 minutes from where I live, there is a sports institute. And here they learn all about sport, but it's part of the university as a whole.
That is great. And remember, it's not just about sport. It can also be about law. Let's look at our third word. The third word we are learning is the word seminar. What is a seminar? If you have a look at the picture on your screen, you will see it's a room and there are quite a few people. Now, a seminar is an occasion where an expert, that is a person that is very highly qualified in that specific field, can be either an expert or a teacher, or it can be quite a few of them, and then we call it a panel. And then they meet in a specific room And then the expert or the teacher or the panel helps this group to discuss a specific topic. Now you can see there are quite a few people, but also we get the word webinar. And this is what you are having at this moment. Now, a webinar is larger than a seminar. And a webinar, web, means it's on the internet, where this is usually in a room on campus or at another place. Let's look at our next word, the word revise. And what do you think about this word, Tammy? Isn't this one of the most important words in education?
It's very important, and lots of people don't like to do it. But if we don't revise, we can't prepare for our exams, and we can't recall the things that we've been taught over our term and our education.
That's absolutely true. So revise is the action of when you study again what you have already learned. And this is one of the most important words that you will learn when you are learning about education, because this is what you do when you prepare for an exam or a test. And you can also revise on your own, or you can revise in a group where you can share your ideas. Let's practice this then. And we are going to do a poll about the words that we have just learned.
Okay, so the question is, what is an institute? Is it an organization where people do a particular type of scientific, education, or social work, or buildings that it uses? Or is an institute buildings of a college or university and the land that surrounds them?
Everybody that took part chose A.
Yay!
Yes, very good. Well done.
Phew.
Yes. It's an organization where people do particular type of scientific, educational, or social work, or it can also be a building. Very, very well done. Excellent. That was very good revision, by the way. Let's get on to our next word. This is the word thesis. Now, a thesis is a long piece of writing, and it is about a specific topic that someone has studied. And you usually write a thesis when you are at a higher level of study. And have a look. I've got a thesis. Oh, you can't see it very well, but I've got a thesis, and it's usually bound in the form of a book. And then the title of the thesis is on that as well. It doesn't want to show up very well, but this one is a master thesis, meaning this is for a master's degree. So a thesis, a very, very long piece of writing on a particular or a specific topic.
Human, I have a question.
Yes.
Does a thesis take a long time to write, and is it difficult?
It does take quite a long time to write, Tammy, because it is usually over a 2-year period.
Wow.
2 to 3 year period where you do the study, and the end of the study, the exam of the study, is usually the thesis. And then the professor, your teacher, will have a look at it, and then they will mark it, and they will give you a mark. And if you do pass,
Yay.
and it is something new added to education, then you get your master's or your doctorate. But you have to write the thesis, and it takes quite a long time. The second, or the next word we're learning is the word tutor. Have a close look at the picture. In this picture, you can see one of the people is a student, and the other is a teacher. Now, a tutor is a teacher who teaches a child or a student outside of school. So it is extra work, like an extra class. And this is especially if you have difficulty in a specific subject. It is good to get a tutor to help you. You get many English tutors out there. And you can only go and have a look on the web, and you can have a tutor.
When I was at school, I had a maths tutor to help me with my maths.
Well, I had a tutor too,
Yeah.
and for the same subject.
Oh.
Because I found maths very, very difficult.
Oh, I loved maths. So they helped me to do well. And I'm sure they helped you too. I couldn't have done it without my tutor.
I couldn't have done it too. The next person we are learning about, or the next word, is also a person. This is the lecturer. Now, a lecturer is a person that teaches the class. And they usually teach at a college or a university. And then we have a specific name that we use for them. We call them professors. And they also have to have very high degrees and a high level of study and learning before they can become a professor. And they usually stand in front of the class. And I have to say, Tammy, I was quite scared of some of my professors and my lecturers.
Why was that?
They are so staunch and they know so much, and they make you feel that you know so little at that stage.
Because they are so clever.
Yes, but you also get excellent lecturers at university and college. Then, when you have studied and you have worked hard, and at the end you pass your exam, you become a graduate. And a graduate is a person who has a degree from a university or a college. And you see, she's wearing a specific type of clothing. And in English, Tammy, we call it...
Sorry.
Yes, we call it a...
So on her head, she has a cap. We call this a hat. A cap, not a hap. And she's wearing what we call a gown. So we call this a cap and gown.
A cap and gown. And then you have a specific time at the end of your study where you have this graduation ceremony. And that is when you receive your certificate. And then you are a graduate. Qualify. This means to successfully finish a training course so that you are able to do the job that you have studied for. So if you qualify, you have finished your study, and then you can start doing your work. We are going to talk a bit about, is this... Oh, first, before we get to this question, let's do another poll. Let's do another poll, Tammy, about 2 words that we have learned. So we are going to revise.
Oh, again.
Yes.
Okay, so this question this time is, what is a tutor? Is this someone that teaches at a college or university, or is it someone who teaches a child outside of school to give extra help with a subject he or she finds difficult?
Let's think a bit.
Oh, I think everybody has chosen the correct answer, Human.
Yes, everybody has. Very good. It's someone that teaches a child outside of school to give extra help with a subject. Well done. Excellent work. Let's answer a few questions while we look at some pictures. Is this a campus? Have a look at the wording in front of the building or on the facade of the building. It says Massachusetts. Aha. Is it a campus? No, it is. This is an institute. She's got her cap on and a gown, and she's receiving something from a lecturer. Is she a graduate? Yes, she is a graduate. She completed her studies. What educational term does this image represent? Thesis, a tutor, or a seminar? It's someone that's helping a student. So this is a tutor. Well done. Very good. What educational term does this image represent? What can you see? Is it qualify, or B, a lecturer, or C, a campus, building with grounds? Very good. This is a campus. One room with an expert, and they are discussing a topic. So this is a seminar. The most important thing. What are they doing? Revise, A, B, lecturer, or C, qualify. And you see this, it's a group of students. And what are they doing? Revise. Yes, they are revising for an exam. They're doing revision. If you want to learn more vocabulary and the grammar that Tammy is going to do with you, remember to subscribe to our weekly YouTube videos and webinars. Just click on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Pinterest. Tammy, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you for the great vocabulary section. So now on to the grammar. So in this section of grammar today, we're going to be looking at time expressions. So the first one, we use for with a period of time to refer to duration. Duration just means how long something lasts. For example, we will teach this webinar for 30 minutes. That's how long about that the webinar will last. But remember, we mustn't confuse for and in when referring to time. Let's look at an example. They will be in Japan for 2 months because of work. So here, the in isn't referring to time, it's referring to the place they will be, but the for is telling us the duration. Somebody is going to be in Japan for that duration. How long? For 2 months because of work.
So Tammy, we can also use the word for at a specific time when something starts and it ends at a specific time.
Yes.
So we know the starting time and we know almost the ending time.
Yes. So you could say, for example, if you were having a party, you may say to your friends, please be at my house for 6 o'clock. This is not telling you the duration of the time. This time, we're talking about the time that you need to arrive.
Great.
Okay. So let's look at another word, during. So we use during before nouns and noun phrases. And then why do we use it? Well, we use it to refer to when something happens over a period of time. For example, during this webinar, we will be covering vocabulary and grammar. So that's something that's happening over a length of time. It can also refer to the whole time of the event. For example, my friend was talking to me during the film. I mean that my friend was talking to me for the whole time that the film was showing, which I hate. During, it can also refer to something that happened while the main event was taking place. For example, my friend was talking to me during the film. This tells me that she was talking to me the whole time and that the main event, the film, was also happening at the same time. When we use it in the context like this, can you, sorry. We've gone a bit too quick. There we go. So in such context, during means at some specified point in time, and we tend to use it much more than the word in. So let's look at these two examples. It's rude to speak during a work presentation. Here, we're talking about a whole time. So it's not appropriate when you're being at work and there's a work presentation going on. It would be rude to speak during at any point of time. I woke up at some point during the night. So this is an event that happened, and it happened for a period of time, but not the whole night, because it's at some point during the night.
I have a question. So we can use during in a sentence like, I went to the cinema, or during my holiday.
Yes, because there are two events that are happening. The main event would be your holiday. And the second event that you're talking about is that you went to the cinema during the main event. So we can use it for all sorts of different things. So let's go on to the next part. This is looking at the expression while and whilst. So these can mean the same when we use them as conjunctions. A conjunction, it just means when we're linking two sentences together, the first part of a sentence and the second part of a sentence. What do they actually mean? They mean that, they both mean that during the time that something else happens, or in contrast with something else. If we could just see the examples. For example, we can order some drinks whilst we wait for Jane. So this means that something else is happening. They're waiting for Jane. And during that time, they can order some drinks. So they use the word whilst. The second example, Ben was playing computer games while Ken was working. So human, what's the two events that are happening in this sentence?
The main thing, I think, is playing computer games.
Yes.
And working.
That's right. So the main event was that Ben was playing computer games and Ken was working. These are two events that are happening at the same time. So when do we use while and when do we use whilst? Well, whilst is used much more formally. So normally, in normal English conversation, we would use while. Okay, so there are two polls that I wanted to use here. And the first one, let's do some more revision. Can you tell me, what do we use during for? So if you'd like to read out the options for us, human.
Refer to a whole time of an event, to talk about a future event, or to refer to something that happened while the main event was taking place.
Okay, so it's a multiple choice. So there's more than one correct answer. Okay, brilliant. So you're right. During is used to refer to the whole time of event. During summer, I went to the park. So you're talking about the whole event of summer. And it can also refer to something that happened while the main event was taking place. I went to the park during summer. So that second event that happened is that you went to the park. What about whilst? Let's have a look at this one. Could you read these options, please, human?
There we go. What does whilst or while mean? They both mean events that have already happened. They both mean during the time that something else happens. They both mean to contrast with something else.
And again, this is multiple choice. So two of the answers are correct and one is a bit of a red herring. It's not correct.
Tammy, this is quite a difficult one.
This is a bit tricky. Okay, so the answers are that they both mean during the time that something else happens, and we can use them to contrast them with something else. So Let's practice using them. Can we choose the correct time expression to complete these sentences? So, while we were waiting outside, is it on her phone whilst doing her work? We were waiting outside while you wait, or we were waiting outside for 3 hours before it started raining. And my apologies, I read the first sentence wrong for the first option. So we were waiting outside. Have a look at that picture. Only one of those makes sense. Let's have a look which one it is and see if you figured it out. It should be, we were waiting outside for 3 hours before it started raining. Here we're using that time expression before to tell us that they were doing something before another event happened. It can't be on her phone. It doesn't make sense. And we were waiting outside while you wait. That doesn't sound right either. Let's look at the next one. So, one of my favorite things to do. Kate listened to music. Is it Kate listened to music on her phone whilst doing her work? 2 events. Kate listened to her phone while you wait, or Kate listened to music for 3 hours before it started raining. Sorry, Kate listened to music, not Kate listened to her phone. So only one of these can make sense. What do you think, Human? Is it A, B, or C?
I have to choose. I will choose A.
Let's have a look. That's right. Yeah. Fantastic. And if you got that right for watching, that's brilliant as well. So here, the time expression we're using is whilst. So she listened to music, 1 event, whilst doing her work, the 2nd event. 2 things happening at the same time.
You are a brilliant teacher.
Oh, thank you, Hugh. And I think you are too. So, would you like something to drink? Always. I always would like a cup of coffee. But let's see. Wonder what this woman is saying. So this is a waitress. Have a look at that picture. What could she be saying to the people at the table? Would you like something to drink on her phone whilst doing her work? Would you like something to drink while you wait? Would you like something to drink for 3 hours before it started raining? A, B, or C? Let's have a look. Let's see if you got it right as well. Would you like something to drink while you wait? This has to be correct. The sentence begins with would, which means this has to be a question. So we need a question mark. The other 2 do not make sense. So this is a question. Would you like something to drink while you wait? There are 2 events that are going to be happening. The people are waiting, so she's offering them something to drink whilst they do that. Let's look at the next one. It is always cold. What could it be? For 20 years? I hope not.
I hope so. Neither do I.
Oh, no. During the training and seminars, well, I'm quite warm. Or it is always cold during the winter months. So this time we're using a different time expression. Human, which one do you think it is?
Well, it seems like it is for a period of time. I think I would go for C.
And I think you would be right. If we look at that picture, there we go. It is always cold during the winter months, which is true, especially in my country. It's definitely, and that's right. Human is right, using during because it's for an entire period of time. Okay, so let's go forward. So it was so important to listen for 20 years during the training and seminars or during the winter months. So have a think. What time expression do we need? Look at that picture. What's happening in that picture? So it was so important to listen. Let's see the answer. What could it be? If you chose B, then great job, because that's correct. It was so important to listen during the training and seminars. Here, we are explaining that another event is happening and it's giving us a specified time. So it's important to listen, but the particular time it's important to listen in this sentence is during training and seminars.
So while the seminar was going on, it was important to listen.
Yes, for that whole time. I have known Jeffrey. I don't know a Jeffrey, but this person does. I have known Jeffrey for 20 years during the training and seminars or during the winter months. Which time expression do we need this time? So this time we want to know an amount of time. Let's have a look. Which one could it be? So I have known Jeffrey. If you chose A, great job. So I have known Jeffrey for 20 years. Again, this sentence we're using for to give us a specific amount of time that they've known each other. The other two wouldn't fit.
Wouldn't make any sense.
They wouldn't, because we've used have. We have to have for. We never would use I have known during, because it doesn't, that they don't match. They don't make sense. So we've covered quite a lot in this section. So now, hopefully, by the end of this webinar, you can use your English voice to use words when talking about education and higher learning. So we learned about campus, institute, revise, tutor, and words like this. And we learned how to recognize them if we see them and the difference between them. And we've also learned to use the time expressions such as for, during, and while correctly. So thank you so much for coming to our webinar. We have loved having you with us. And if you're watching on YouTube, remember to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. And to learn more vocabulary and grammar, we have a weekly webinar, and every day we are putting new videos and things on YouTube, but also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. And we would love to see you there. So click subscribe and hit that like button, and we hope to see you next week. Thank you. Thank you, Human. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tammy.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.